Hey everyone, my name is Hugo. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, I talk all about all different kinds of physical media. I talk about books, movies, games, and music, especially the physical aspect of it. Today's video is going to be about music and more about the resurgence of vinyl and what about CDs. So I got into collecting vinyl around, I think, April last year, something like that. And I didn't even think about CDs. They weren't cool. And the vinyl, they're so big and pretty. And I wanted to collect them. And everyone kept telling me the sound is way better. And CDs weren't real music. It's all digital, even though it's physical. It's a digital copy of it. And I got influenced into collecting vinyl, right? So I bought a beginner pickup player, like a little record player, with a built-in speaker, nothing too fancy, still have it. And I got a couple vinyl. And I figured out fairly quickly that it was going to cost me a lot of money if I wanted to own all the music that I really liked physically on vinyl. So a few months passed. I kept collecting them. It was I don't know, 3 to 5 vinyls maybe a month, maybe a little more if I got lucky at a flea market or a thrift store or something, but that is very rare these days because vinyl is so popular. So if people have got something good on their hands, they know the price of it. With the internet, they can just look it up. So finding little treasures in flea markets or in thrift stores is very rare these days. So it all came down to buying most of them either new or new price. I don't have it here with me, but I bought at a flea market a Phil Collins vinyl for 18 euros. It was used. It was old. It's cool. It looks cool. It still works. It's got a few scratches though, which is something I'll talk about later. But it's 18 euros at a flea market for a used vinyl. Now, 18 euros isn't too crazy. There are vinyl out there that are way, way more expensive. For example, I got the Moon Music, I don't know what it's called, the Notebook edition or something. I pre-ordered this. I'm a huge fan of Coldplay. They're kind of like a childhood band of mine. When we used to drive to Portugal on vacation, they were always in the car on CD, by the way. And so we used to listen to them a lot. So I pre-ordered their new album. It's really cool. Don't get me wrong. It came with a CD, by the way. I paid, I think, what was it, 60, I think? So it was 60 euros. So it's basically Chris Martin's notebook and their drawings, etc. And then the vinyl is made of plastic bottles from the sea or something like that. It's a clear crystal vinyl. Don't get me wrong, really good edition. For 60 bucks, the value you get is pretty good. That vinyl right now is going for 120, 150 euros because it's a limited edition and even opened. So that's kind of that's unreal. I can't fathom spending that amount of money on a single vinyl. And there's another one which is way less special. So it's Passenger's Patchwork album. He wrote this during the pandemic. And it's a really good album. If you haven't checked this out, check it out on YouTube. It's very underrated. I love Passenger. It's just a standard black vinyl. I bought this off his website for 10 euros, brand new. He never charges too much for CDs or vinyl. All his vinyls are always 10, and if it's the deluxe edition, I think it's 20 because it's 2 vinyl. So I bought this for 10, I don't know, a long time ago. And it's all sold out now. They're now making more. This is going on eBay for 180, I see. And on Discogs, I find it for 140, 150. That's great. That's insane. I can't find a CD anywhere either. Now that pricing problem is the fault of scalpers who go in and pre-order something and then resell it. That's their bread and water, whatever. They do what they do. But they can only do that if people actually pay it. So it's also the consumer's fault, right? So I had been collecting vinyl for a couple months now, and I found out, okay, I I'm getting like 3 to 5 vinyls a month, which is pretty okay. Like, it's not nothing, but there was so much more, and I found myself listening to a lot of streaming music still. I have YouTube Music Premium. I listen to my music in the car like that because I didn't have CDs. So, and at home, I would sometimes put on a vinyl, but of course, like when you have only like 15 albums, things get old. So you want to like listen to something else up, and there goes YouTube Music again. And then I kind of just had a moment of realization. I was at a thrift store, and I go to thrift stores a lot to look for video games and movies mostly. And I was looking through the vinyl at a thrift store, and nothing interesting. It's all like either whatever type of hits album, or which aren't even hits most of the time, or it's classical music or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not what I'm into. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look at the CDs. And within the CDs, I don't remember which ones I found then, but these are some CDs. This is Coldplay, this is Genesis, this is Phil Collins. It's all artists I really like that I had bought on vinyl before. And they were just right there for 50 cents or a buck or 175. And I was like, okay. So I knew they were cheap, but I always assumed that in a thrift store, I wouldn't find anything good. And that's just not the case. So I started looking more, and every time I went to the thrift store now, I also checked out the CDs. And I found a lot of CDs that I did really like. And so I started buying a couple CDs. I could listen to them in the car, which is awesome. I could listen to a whole album physically in my car. I have a little box with CDs in my car, and I can listen to CDs in the car. I can listen to them at home. I got a little CD player. And that way I could still collect albums with their art and their little booklets with the lyrics. And yeah, they're not as pretty and as big as vinyl, sure, but that's also a good thing because you can have more with less amount of storage. So you saw the thumbnail picture, right? So it's not an exaggeration. All these CDs, I calculated it. I get CDs at my thrift store. There's a couple thrift stores I go to. There's a couple where they're 50 cents a disc. So if it's a double disc, it's €1. And then there's one that is 150 a disc. And I did, these are 25 CDs. And I did an average of €3, which it isn't, because most of these are single CDs, so it's way less than that. But even if it would be €3 a piece, which maybe it is like that in other countries or thrift stores in bigger cities, that's why I did $3. 25 CDs for $3 is €75. This one album of Taylor Swift, sure, it's an anthology, it's technically 2 albums, was €70, brand new. So, and I still got it because we still get vinyl every now and then. But that just goes to show, you can either choose to have a single album, granted one of the more expensive ones. You can get a lot of vinyl for 30, 35-ish. Or 25 albums from a thrift store. Now, of course, in a thrift store, you have to get very lucky to find exactly what you want. I'm going to go through these and show you what I got. This is just so, like, kind of like a pickup video. It's not all the CDs I got in the meantime. It's just a couple. But I'm first going to show you a couple of CDs I bought brand new. Now, if you go brand new, a CD that just released will be about 15 to 20 euros, I think, as opposed to 35 to 50 for a vinyl. If you wait a little bit, or you're looking for modern CDs that have been released for a couple of years now, you can get them on Amazon or in media stores for around $5 to $10 max. So these are, it's just an estimate, but I never really overpay. I'll tell you which is the CD I paid the most amount of money for. So just look at this as a quick haul. So I got Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent by Louis Capaldi. I paid €7. And it's a double. Everyday Life by Coldplay. Paid, I think, around $6. And it's got a little booklet. Passenger, Whisper. I paid on his website, brand new, €8. and it comes with like a little pocket pop-up thing and then drawings on the inside. Really pretty edition. €8. This is the most expensive CD. €20. The exact same album as I just showed you on vinyl, which was 70. That's a difference of $50. And it's the same exact songs. And you can listen to them on the go. I've got a Discman. I don't have it here with me, but I bought a Discman that I can go out instead of listening to my phone and listen to the Discman. These are CDs I can listen to on that. George Ezra, €6. Gracie Abrams, €7. Chappel Roan, 16, one of the more pricey ones. Kaleo, one of my favorite bands, I think 11. And then Kahan, one of my favorite artists of all time. This was 20. But the vinyl was 65. So those are some newer ones. And as you can tell, it's like, I don't know, an average of $10 or something. Those are for brand new albums that came out either this year or a couple of years ago. And the vinyl equivalent would be around $30 at the least. And now for the thrift store haul. I'm just going to fly through these. Phil Collins, live. Oh, the price is still on here. I don't know if you can see it. It says $125. Genesis. Head Full of Dreams by Coldplay. All thrift store. The Police, as you can see, it says 50 cents. It's not focusing. Eric Clapton, Unplugged, 50 cents. Dire Straits, 50 cents. Bruce Springsteen, 2 albums. Soundtracks, Gladiator, amazing score. Pirates of the Caribbean, incredible score. If you were to buy these on vinyl, it would cost you a lot of money. Mamma Mia, granted this is a Dutch version, so I don't know if that's any good. Bob Marley, 3 Cash albums. Modern stuff as well. Bruno Mars, again 50 cents. The Cooks, which is a British punk rock band. Fall Out Boy. The White Stripes. The Cranberries. Green Day. And this one I found recently. This one was a little more because it was €3. It's 3 discs, Bob Dylan. So that just shows you, obviously, music is subjective and everyone's taste is different, but these are pretty good albums, well-known albums, and they're all thrift finds. Yeah, sometimes, I don't know if you saw, but the Gladiator case is cracked. But again, I can buy a 50-cent album that I don't care about and then replace the case. So yeah, maybe they don't look as cool as vinyl if you want to hang them up on your wall or something. But I still think we have to remember that music is mostly to be listened to and experienced mostly by listening. And of course, the album covers are part of the art form. But this video is just kind of a way of trying to reach people who are struggling to collect vinyl because it's so expensive. And I just kind of want to let them know that it's okay. I just kind of wanted to let them know that it's okay to buy CDs instead. And I still collect vinyl to this day. I will go out and splurge every now and then. But it's gone down from around 5 vinyls a month to maybe 1 a month. For Christmas, we got a couple extra, but other than that, it's going to be around 1 vinyl a month. I still like the process a lot of putting on a vinyl, cleaning it, flipping the vinyl. I still like it every now and then, but sometimes, I'm not going to lie, when I only had vinyl, I sometimes would listen to, and I'm not proud of this, but I would listen to an album that I own on vinyl, and I would put it on YouTube and put it on Bluetooth through my speakers just so I didn't have to clean the vinyl and get it out of the sleeve, etc. So sometimes it's just a little inconvenient as well. And there is part of that inconvenience that is part of the charm, of course. But sometimes it's just plain inconvenience. So I'm just here to kind of let you know it's okay to give in and collect CDs instead of vinyls, or collect CDs and vinyl. I've got around, I don't know, from a guesstimate, if this was around 30 CDs, let's say 100 CDs, more or less. And I think only like 30 vinyls. And I've been collecting CDs for 2 months and vinyl almost a year. And yeah, that's just plain and simple, just because it costs way less and it's easier to find. You can go on eBay, Craigslist, Vinted, whatever site you use to type in an actual title of an album and get it used as well for 2 to 3 euros. Sure, there's shipping comes with it, but if you get a couple, it might be worth looking into that as well. The only thing I would say with vinyl is if you buy a vinyl brand new, it holds most of its value, whereas most CDs that you buy brand new will lose its value after like a year. And if you want to resell it, then it will have lost most of its value. That's why I'm suggesting go to thrift stores or buy them used. Unless there's an album or an artist you really want to support, then you can just get it new and be like a third of the price of a vinyl. So yeah, that's enough rambling. I hope this reaches the right persons just know that it's okay to collect CDs as well as vinyl, or instead of vinyl. It's perfectly fine. It still sounds really good, and you're saying no to streaming, and you own the music you listen to instead of paying a subscription that you never will own the music then. So yeah, anyway, that's all. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.